All right, Bamang, today's Thursday. It is September 11th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Before we get going here, I want to talk about game time. There's nothing like a crisp fall night at the ballpark, but trying to get there is brutal. You're stuck in a queue. Prices jump at checkout. You're logged out mid-click. All you want to do is be in the stands, beer in hand, yelling with the crowd. The Gametime app gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Gametime guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic MLB tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. I was looking at tickets for the Cubs game tomorrow, Rays at Cubs, and I saw an amazing Gametime deal for great seats for only $29. Steven, our friend who was on the Yak with us this week, Baz, he's pitching Friday.
Shane Baz?
Yeah, so I hope he gets shelled, but, you know, go Cubs, obviously, but good guy.
Yeah, very good guy. I think I'm actually going to go to the game on Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Saturday, it's a lot more expensive. I'm seeing 111, but regardless, it makes sense. It's a marquee matchup Saturday,
I would
120.
guess that's because of the Rizzo stuff.
Yes.
Probably,
yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DOGWALK for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Gametime app today. All right, we are here. Brain Clash Volume 5. How we feeling, boys? Stephen Cheah, White Sox Dave.
Feeling sharp. I was watching the show Traders last night, so I feel extra.
Oh, there you go.
What's that about?
I know the price. Very werewolfy, right?
It's super gay werewolf.
Okay. Like, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a good watch. The host is just over the top. He's great, Alan Cumming. But
Yeah.
What's with all the gay references right now?
I think
that's
I think there's the host is gay, right?
The host is
Yeah.
yeah. And there's a lot of like shots panned to him where he's making like he's wearing like dresses and stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that part because it's always interesting to see what he walks out with.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Whatever, man.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
TV show.
It's a TV show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of those like CBS game shows.
Oh,
I think it's on
okay.
CBS, right?
I thought, okay.
It's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock. All right, so it's one of those,
All right.
like, you know, the game Werewolf?
That we play?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's essentially that, but it's called Traders, and it's with like, I think one of like the Jersey Shore people were on there.
It's like a mix of like
Bachelor
lower-level
contestants,
celebrities,
like RuPaul, like that. It's all
Okay.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
I got you.
I had never heard of the show. I thought we were talking about a show with homosexual werewolves.
No.
That's exactly what I thought we were
Steven,
talking about.
that was very, like, the host is just a sassy gay guy. That's
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes.
That's all it is. But yeah, a lot of people from Housewives, shit like that.
Yep.
But regardless, I'd say you probably have a distinct advantage because Dave was up all night shagging. Well, not all night. It was
You finished at 11.
Barstool after dark. Yeah, you finished. So you're probably
11:30-ish, maybe?
So you're home by like midnight.
Yeah.
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 But you're probably still a little sharper.
Well, we're here until 1 a.m. or whatever on Monday.
Yeah, true. So you got the
I-
advantage.
I mean, I was here till
Yeah,
late
you were.
Monday too.
But do you always have the advantage?
Yes, without a doubt.
All right, so Brain Clash 5. Great episode here where we get the two strangest brains, two of the strangest brains of Barstool in the same room. We didn't get to one in September. We did one in August. That's the first one we really kept score on. Stephen Cheah won. So it's 1-0 right now. I will defer to you on the first question. If people don't remember, if this is people's first time listening, it's 5 questions, best out of 5 series. Simple as that. I will not so much pick the side that I agree with. I will pick the side of who I think had a better argument. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
All right. Let's do it. So, like I said, Stephen Cheah won.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give him the option to go first or defer on the first topic.
Okay.
All right.
And Dave and I do not know the topics.
David, you do not know the topics, correct. Topic 1. What is better living, the city or the suburbs? Stephen Cheah, would you like to go first or would you like to defer?
I'm going to go... I will actually defer this one.
Okay. So
This
what do you want?
is Do I?
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or do you want him to go first? Deferring means you pick.
That is true. I'll go first. The answer is city. 100%. I have lived in both the Chicago suburbs. Actually, so I'm 36. I've lived in the Chicago suburbs for 2/3 of my life. The city for 1/3 of my life. I will never ever live in the Chicago suburbs again. It's not a lie. I promise you I will not. The closest I could get to living in the suburbs is maybe down the road. If I shit out a couple of kids or something like yourself, I could live in somewhere like Ed, where Ed lives on the outskirts towards our hair, maybe on the south side, Evergreen Park area. I will never, ever. Okay. Evergreen Park's the city, I thought.
No, it's the suburb.
Okay, well, that area, Beverly. Let's say Beverly.
That is a city.
That's the city. I could maybe be talked into that at one point, but the convenience of the city, I like having all the best food in the world at my disposal. I could go anywhere I want on any given night of the week. In the suburbs, it's typically, even though I grew up in the west suburbs, you have Naperville right there and other places where there are fine dining restaurants. It's mostly chain shit. The convenience is nowhere near. You have lawns to cut. You have yard work to do. Obviously, that can happen in the city as well, but I'm talking more downtown area like where I live now. I can walk to work. I don't have to deal with a commute. Having lived in both for, like I said, 2/3 to 1/3 of my life, the difference is it's insane. There is no argument for the suburbs in my mind at all.
Okay. Stephen Cheah, you are up. Argue for the suburbs.
I'm going to pull in Lance producing so we get some unbiased stuff. Lance, what is the best beef in Chicago, do you think?
I think in Chicago, I think the best tasting beef you would find in Elmwood Park.
What's the name of the place?
Johnny's.
Yes.
Johnny's. Oh, really interesting because that's right around the corner for me. We have a Johnny's location. What would you say, Lance, the best wing place is in Chicago? These are two of the foods you eat a lot, right?
The best one would be Bird's Nest.
Okay, yeah, we have a Bird's Nest in Arlington Heights about 2 miles from my house. So the argument for we have the best food in the world pays no mind. Arlington Heights, Mount Prospect, that area, the Villages, we got Bird's Nest, we got Johnny's. Oh, and the lines, yeah, not that bad. Space, more of it. I have way more space than you. That's just a fact. That's not a flex. It's just I have kids. I need a lawn. I have a dog. It's really nice to be able to take my dog right outside. Don't have to walk the dog. Just go outside, pee right there.
Steven, I do the exact same thing.
Spacious backyard, walking around the neighborhood, very safe. Chicago, beautiful city, has not the best reputation with crime, safety, all that stuff. My neighborhood, I'm walking the dog at 5 a.m. in the total darkness on Tuesdays, and I have no worries about crime, about anything because we
have you ever lived in the city?
I lived in New York City for 8 years.
Have you lived in Chicago?
I have not lived in the downtown Chicago area.
Okay,
no.
so
it's similar premise.
That
it's city
hold on,
versus
let
suburbs,
him-
it's not Chicago versus the
Let him
Chicago
keep making his
Yep.
point.
way more room, bigger lawns, safer, food options, pretty much on par as far as as far as the stuff that you're going to regularly. I know that you're not going to like 5-star dining like all the time. Yes, if you want to do that, you can go into the city. The walk to work, that is certainly nice, and I'll give you that. But hey, according to Eddie, construction on 90 is almost over. We're gonna be zipping down these things in a couple months. So
it's still gonna take you 45 minutes to my 7-minute walk. But you lived. I'm operating with the brain of having lived in both Chicago City proper and the suburbs. Now, Chicago City proper is a lot more suburban-y feel than Manhattan, which is, I assume, where you lived, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Manhattan's.
I have friends that live in Chicago.
Hell on earth. It's hell on earth. Where I live right now, I live in the West Town neighborhood, the neighborhood we're in right now. It's got a very suburban-y feel. It's nice and walkable. It's tree-lined. It's clean. It is completely safe.
Talk to me about your neighbors.
What about my neighbors?
Talk to me about your direct neighbors that you're trying to buy out because it is an unsafe place. I know where you live. I know that there's shady activity going on at all hours of the night right outside your apartment. So don't be I live in a perfectly safe neighborhood. You live very close to a park. There's some shady shit going on up until 1, 2 in the morning.
Neighbors,
So don't.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Where we played the fruit baseball is right near your house.
Fruit baseball.
How can I be more descriptive than this? when we hit pieces of fruit or threw pieces of fruit.
Okay. A couple years ago. Yes. Okay.
Not even a year ago. You lived very close to there. Yes. There, I know for a fact because I sometimes work very late here for streams and stuff like that. That there's shady shit going on right outside your door till very late at night.
But you were talking about like me trying to buy someone out. What? Like I don't know.
That can.
Yeah, there's crime in densely populated areas.
Yeah, which the city is, and this is not necessarily Chicago city versus Chicago suburbs.
Hey, Steven. When I was in high school, I grew up in just any town USA.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbor got shot to death. That happened. It can happen anywhere.
Certainly. But if we're talking about a sample size, it's much more rare.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, yes, I would much rather take the nice, plush, comfy suburbs with the yard with a little bit of a drive and with food that is very close to as good for most of the time outside of the 5-star places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm easily able to get groceries. Everything's very fast and easy for the stuff that I need. Now, if you want to go see a movie at midnight, it might be a little bit harder. But I'm not really taking advantage of that type of stuff. It would be nicer to walk to a Cubs game, which you don't have the access to. But it's a shorter trip for you.
Yeah.
But it's a very fair trade-off. I love living in the suburbs. I'm gonna be a suburbs guy for life.
Okay.
Now you say I have the experience of having done both in the city of Chicago.
Again, I have the experience of both as well. It's not just the city of Chicago.
New York, and specifically Manhattan, is
the greatest city in the world.
Much different. I disagree, but much different than the neighborhood like Lincoln Park, Wicker Park, Bucktown, Westtown, even going south to Little Italy and shit. Like those are very suburban-y feels within the city, and they offer the wide array. And having done both my entire life, I can speak to it better than you can. If you had lived a year in Westtown, or just to use where we are as the example, then your brain would be you'd have a totally different opinion.
Can I just say something about Westtown? We've been here for 2 years. 2 years? Mm-hmm. This neighborhood sucks. What is the character of this neighborhood? It's just industrial buildings that are, for the most part, vacant. I took my dog to the office one day, could not get a really good patch of grass that was more than 5 feet big. I had to walk all the way
Steven, you just talked about the giant park that we played fruit baseball with.
Yeah, that's not like every block. Like especially the thing about
it's not the country.
The suburbs where I live, there's a huge park. There, I think it's like the most parks per capita in the U.S. or something like that. In the
Lance, can we get a fact check on that?
It's an insane amount of parks.
All right. I will bring an end to this argument.
I don't need an insane amount of parks personally. So.
Lastly, the sound of cicadas is pretty nice.
We have cicadas in the cities.
Listen, I thought Steven started his argument off better. I thought he really packed a punch, bringing up the points of restaurants that are in the city are coming to the suburbs now. That was a good point. The safety thing kind of goes the wayside because, as Dave said, there are different neighborhoods in the city, and it's not apples to apples to, New York or other. But granted, it is safe. It is safer in the suburbs. I just wish Dave leaned more into the commute aspect. You kind of mentioned it in a blip, and for that reason, I'm going to give the point to Steven.
I think that's a egregious mistake, but
I'm just saying argument wise. I'm not saying
it's egregious.
I agree with you, but I'm going with Steven. Do you agree with that, Lance, or no?
Yeah, one thing I wish was mentioned by Steven, which I think would have just been a home run, is like parking. Parking, if like that's like I grew up in the suburbs, the difference between city and suburbs is like parking is a bitch in the city. Parking is very easy in the suburbs. I think points overall, yeah. I would agree.
1 point, Steven. Okay. Next topic here. Steven, obviously you won, so you're going to get the pick to go first or defer again. What is the ideal start time for your NFL team on a Sunday?
Oh, I'm taking the ball.
Okay.
I want the ball and we're going to score.
Go.
It's without a question.
And there are 4 slots, obviously.
Noon, 3.
Prime time and Monday night or Thursday night?
No, you get Sunday night, 3, noon, 1 p.m. noon,
London.
and London 8:30 a.m. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
I will accept all 4 and nothing but those 4.
Okay.
Monday does not count.
No,
It's
Monday
only
does not
Sunday.
count.
Okay.
Only Sunday.
Okay. It's very clearly 1 o'clock, 12,
Noon,
12,
yeah.
12 Central. The reason is, Carrie Underwood has a song, You're Waiting All Day for Sunday Night. Kind of, because you want to see a good matchup, but you don't want to see your team. You're itching. You've had a whole work week. You've had to deal with your team sucking since Monday night and blowing a lead, and your quarterback using the same nail tech as Angel Reese. You want to get that game in as fast as you can, not necessarily on Thursday night or in the London spot, which nobody really watches. You want it in the 12 o'clock slot. You want to wake up. You want to have your food. You want to have your drink. You want to be in your chair. You want to be watching your team with everybody else. They're watching their team. If they're your friends, if they're local, they're probably watching the same team. You want to be in that experience. If you're in a prime time spot or even the America's Game of the Week slot, yeah, but I can see the value of being a standalone game, and you get to absorb more of it. You get to enjoy Red Zone, but at the same time, Red Zone, which now has commercials, you get to have your game in the peak hour. You're ready for it. Who wants to wake up and then just, wait a long time for the game? We're an impatient culture. We want to get our game now. It is the best viewing time. I felt so bad for Bears fans last week prior to the game even being kicked off, because you waited a whole offseason. You got to wait till Monday night. That is horrible. I've been in the situation where the team opens on Thursday night, on Sunday night, on Sunday. It is not good. You want to get your game in as soon as you can, because you've been waiting all day for Sunday at noon, all week.
Okay, so Sunday noon 1, White Sox Dave. You have one of the 3 other options to pick.
Steven is completely correct. The anticipation, waiting.
You got to pick another third.
I can't.
No. You got to argue for one
argument?
of the other 3s. No.
Tough start.
No, yeah, I said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
make an argument for one of the other 3.
Okay. Based on every single thing Steven said about how bad the anticipation was for Monday night, I'm going to use Sunday night just because. So 8:30 games fucking stink. Like you're walking around, you're running errands, maybe you're like cleaning up the house, walking the dog, dealing with shit at that time of day. You're not ready for football yet. Your chili's probably just being started. Like you're not eating chili at 8:30 a.m. You're not eating a smorgasbord of food at 8:30 a.m. That slot sucks. So by process of elimination, it's got to be the Sunday night. Well, I'll say the Sunday night game, because more eyes on you, even though for Bears fans like you and I, Ed, that's typically a bad thing, but I'm operating with just, taking the fandom away from it right now. But I mean, nothing compares to the noon slot. But if I had to go gun to head, it would be the Sunday night slot. Like,
one of the worst arguments.
I don't have an argument. Yeah, no shit.
But Dave, the goal is to make one. Sunday night, if you make a statement, everyone's talking about you on Monday.
Sure, but that doesn't happen with the Bears. So I'm like, I know I just
We're
said
not operating under the Bears.
I know.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I know.
And you made a great argument against 8:30. I love that. You're not ready for chili. You're not ready for the food like that. That was awesome. I like that you snuck that in. Tell us why you got to 7 p.m. and then you get there and you're like, noon is the best. I can't award you.
Because I fucking hate primetime games. I fucking hate
because
them.
of who you root for.
Yes, I know, and that's hard to get out of my head.
But like I said, you get the big time announcers, or you get fucking national TV.
For me personally, you're trying to make the argument. For me personally, I don't give a flying fuck who the announcer is.
I get that, but you are trying to present an argument.
I'm trying to present an argument, but it would be a disingenuous argument that I'm trying to make.
It's okay to be disingenuous. You're in a debate.
I understand that.
I don't think you do.
If I wanted
the best graphics package, it's awesome.
You got to just lean into Red Zone.
I hate Red Zone. I've always hated Red Zone. I want
That's
one
fine.
game
you can
on.
Still argue for it.
I couldn't argue for it.
Like
People like it. I don't.
And argue why people like it. Argue the good things about it.
The good things about it, that's more football. You get to watch every game. Your fantasy team, it's like constant. Like, yeah.
As bad of an argument that you were in this point, the piece of it I believe the least was that you understand the premise of this.
I understand the premise.
No, you don't.
Well, no, so originally I thought that I could agree with you and provide a different argument for why I think it's 12 o'clock's the best slot, okay? And then once that you guys said no to that, I'm like, well, I don't have an argument for the other slots because I really fucking hate the other slots. So, but if there is an argument, sure, Ed, statement on national TV, the big time announcers, all this shit that doesn't actually mean anything to me because of who I root for, but like on a macro level, sure, that thing, all of that stuff is great, I suppose.
Yeah, like that Bills Ravens game, it packed more of a punch because of where it was in
definitely
the time slot.
Definitely,
if that's at noon, it's still awesome, but it's not as much juice. All right, come on, you were doing it now? All right,
yes,
all right, I got to give the point to him. That's 2-0. Yes. Come on, let's avoid the sweep here.
I'm trying to avoid the sweep.
I know, I get that. I don't know. Last one was not good.
I don't know if you are.
If people want to argue that you should have won the first round, fine. But
no, that one. As soon as you said that I couldn't argue for noon, then I knew that one was.
All right, here we go.
He has no idea what's going on.
I don't think you have any idea what's going on.
What are you talking about?
I don't think you have any idea what's going on.
It's so clear you don't have any idea what's going on.
Are you fucking with me right now?
No, are you fucking with me?
No, I'm not. I know. Okay, once he said I couldn't take noon. I'm like, all right, well, I'll make an argument, I guess, but I don't actually believe it in my own head. So the argument's moot.
That's okay.
It's okay. Yes.
I know it's okay, but
you want to hear a secret? I think living in the city's better. I just argue in the suburbs.
Actually?
Yeah. I live in the city. It's much more convenient.
See?
But, okay. All right. Fair.
He just moved there because he has kids.
Yeah.
Let's pause because I want to talk about DraftKings. Football is back, and so is your chance to cash in like never before with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats from breakout rookies to elite QBs and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. No gimmicks, no convoluted rules, just your player reads, and a shot at big returns. Nail your picks, and you're not just winning, you're stacking. Pick 6 rewards bold play with payouts beyond the minimum if you beat the field. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code DOGWALK. That's code DOGWALK. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Stella Blue. Stella Blue Coffee is coffee with a purpose. Our motto is we brew to rescue. Because every purchase helps homeless pets find their forever homes. Over the last 3 years, Stella Blue Coffee has helped raise over $200,000 to our animal shelter network, all thanks to so many people switching to Stella Blue. And here's the thing, it's not just about the mission. The coffee itself is seriously good. Stella Blue Coffee's delicious roasts are available in cold brew, K-Cups, ground, and whole bean formats to seamlessly fit into your morning coffee routine. Our fall flavors are back this week: butter cookie, apple crumb cake, and maple pumpkin pie. Go to StellaBlueCoffee.com and use promo code DOGWALK for 20% off orders of $25 or more. Grab some Stella Blue, taste the difference, make a difference. All right, we good?
Yes,
let's go. All right, come on.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. I like this one. Steven, you will obviously have first dibs or you could defer.
Mm-hmm.
Should parents be friends with their kids? Yes or no?
Can you kind of extrapolate on that further?
Yeah.
Like,
yes or no? Like what kind of relationship should a parent have with their kids?
I have an answer. I want to defer this to Dave because I'm interested to see where he's going to take it, and I don't want to pigeonhole him on this.
All right, Dave, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Right. I don't think I don't think they should be friends by the absolute definition of the word friend. Okay, with their kids. They need to be an authoritarian, be able to smack some ass if need to, belt to ass, as we say in 2025. Having a great relationship with your parents is awesome, and I think it leads to a healthier life. However, a friend, like, I'm not gonna call them up and be like, okay, I'll say this, like, you can have 90% of the conversations with your dad that you'd have with your friends. Like, in the third quarter yesterday, or on Monday, my dad texted me, he's like, the Bears fucking suck, I fucking hate Caleb Williams. something that I would shoot the shit with my buddies about. I could text my dad, be like, hey, Dad, you want to go get a beer? Yeah, sure, son. But, like, there has to be that kind of governor where they can fucking beat your ass if you need to, metaphorically speaking, of course. Obviously, they're going to be the provider for your upbringing and everything. You can't be friends with someone that is, like, kind of running your life. You know, it's like a boss almost. And eventually it's gonna like flip the switch and you're gonna be the provider for them. That, to me, that's not a friend. That's like, I don't know. That's all I got right now. I want to hear what he says.
All right, Steven, you're up.
All right, so I was going to take the you should be their friend, and there certainly are guidelines to that. You can't just, be smoking weed with your kid if
right.
they're, in middle school or something like that. That obviously, we're operating on the assumption that obviously none of that stuff is okay. But in an ideal world, you want to establish a relationship and plant enough seeds where your kids want to be friends with you when they are adults, because there are several types of relationships kids have with their parents, but the two most common ones are either good friends where they respect their parents, obviously, but they are friends and they do stuff like get a beer. So the way you describe your relationship with your dad, you are friends with your dad. Your dad is your dad, and could have put you in your place when you need to be, when you're growing up, if you needed to be, but you are friends with your dad. Not everyone has that. Some people have parents that were too strict growing up, or they didn't agree with something and they clashed, and they never really planted enough seeds where a relationship was a friendship type relationship was going to be formed. My hope for my kids is that they enjoy my company enough and a big thing I like to do with my kids is common things, like common interests. So I have some interests. I like sports. I like watching sports. I like playing sports. I like going to the movies. So I will try and implant those ideas and
indoctrinate them
with those things. So they like that. Like, I have never liked we've talked about this on the show. I've never liked baseball before. My son loves baseball. So you know what? I'm going to throw myself in and be a Cubs fan, because that is something that identifies with this city. That's something that can be important to him. I'm going to go to the game Saturday. I think that's going to be my 6th or 5th game this year. Going to the Cubs, we watch on Marquee all the time with JD and Bug. So, like, we like to do that as a family. That's an activity. It's very important to me, Eddie knows, going to the movies. So every time I see a kid's movie out, I will try and take them to the movie. Most of the time, I know the movie's going to suck, but I think it's nice to have the type of friendship and quality time with them doing something that I enjoy, but also I think they will enjoy. So I think it is very important to indoctrinate them with those things so that they like them too, but also remember doing them with you. So hopefully when they're an adult and they want to catch a ball game or go to the movies, that I am maybe the first call or one of their first calls to do that with. And that would be important to me. I think when I'm about to be dead, I'm going to view my success in life as spending time with my, like, did that carry on? Because right now, me and my kids have a great relationship. I hope that carries on in 20 years.
So what you just described to me sounded exactly like what you just described parenting to me. That is parenting. That's not being a friend. That, like, I don't think your kids, and I think we would all agree here, like, you don't tell your parents everything. You never have, you never will, and vice versa.
Yes.
I think a friend, a great, like I'm going to war for this guy, my best friend, you can tell him fucking anything. Mm-hmm. Any single thing about a girl, a relationship, financial. Obviously, some people probably have relationships like that with their parents, but I think largely it's not. There's a fine line between parenting, which was what you just described, and friends. You can get a beer, you can do stuff with your parents and with your kids, vice versa, that you do with friends, but that doesn't mean you're really friends. It's more you're doing stuff that friends do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would assume with these things, so like, yeah, we're not having like, my kids are so young that like it's the serious talks haven't really started.
They'll get there,
but
wait till high school.
When eventually we are going to Cubs games and out to dinner and the movies and stuff like this, like, yes, I would want them to be able to tell me the things that they would tell their friends, if it's a crush, if it's a problem with a bully at school, something like that. Like, that is something that I am fostering an environment that would be comfortable to bring those things.
Sure. Now, when your kids turn 21, will you light up a joint with them?
I mean, I don't really smoke. So
I know, but
I'll have a beer with them. I'll buy them a beer.
Sure. I'm trying beer. That's like so accepted that I'm trying to avoid that as like.
I feel like weed's pretty accepted
at this point. Yes, and even further down the road, it'll even be more accepted. But like as it stands right now, if your kid was smoking, say he's 15, just hypothetical, son, and I think if he lit up a joint and got high with his buddies, he's not telling you that right now. He's telling his boys that, his friends that. He's not telling you that because you're his parent.
I mean, we established it pretty early on, like it wouldn't be like the drug stuff. So yeah, yes, I would not smoke. I would not sit next to him and smoke a joint. That was just the
easy example. 15. But like, all right, so say here, my first car was a '92 Buick Century. And when I got my license, I'd drive down to Sox Park. I grew up 25 miles west of the city in the suburbs. And after Sox games when I was 16, I would wait in the stadium and try to be the last one out because a lot of times you'd see players and shit walking out. Yep. So at that point, the parking lots were clear. 290 to get back to Wheaton was it was empty. And I got home one time from Sox Park parking lot to my dad's address in 25 minutes. I was fucking pedal to the floor the entire way. That's an example of something that I would not tell my dad. I broke the law big time. I was going like 110 the whole way home just to see how fast I could do it. Mm-hmm. So like that's the kind of shit. Like I used weed as an example because it was easy in my head, but like they will be hiding stuff from you that they do not hide to friends.
Sure. And I'm hoping to foster a relationship that they feel comfortable telling me, but I understand your point.
They won't be telling you, "Hey dad, I sped home last night at 110.
I'm hoping we are comfortable enough with each other that is the case. So
all right, I think this was a good discussion overall. I'm actually going to give the point to Dave. I wish you gave me a little more though, Dave. Like I think you're on the right point where being an authoritarian, being there to make sure that they follow the guidelines of life. Steven, you kind of leaned into more like hobbies and interests, and of course that it's parenting, and you called that out, and of course at some point that comes into being friends when you're older, which I think would be widely accepted as being friends. I was saying more of a situation from when they're kids, born to 18. So that was kind of where the question was coming more from. So on that note, I think Dave nailed it, even though there was at one point where I was like, keep going, because I think you're almost to something where it's just kind of the point where friends you kind of meet out in the wild. Parents, you don't choose that.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
You are
good point.
You are given them, and you were like almost there at the end of your first argument, but regardless, I'm going to give the point to Dave.
Fun.
Okay. Okay. On that note, Dave, you get to choose if you want this first or if you want to defer. The score is 2-1. Steven scores again. He wins. You could tie it up here, though. Dave, would you rather be deaf or blind?
I think there's an easy answer, but I'm kind of nervous that it's so easy that I want to defer. But I'm going to go first.
Okay. What do you got?
I would rather be deaf than blind.
Okay, so give me the answer of why you'd rather be deaf.
I'm going to keep it simple because it's better to see things and not hear them than to hear them and not see them. You can get by, like you can drive deaf. You can go to baseball games deaf and know exactly what's going on. You can watch TV on subtitles. You can watch movies on subtitles. You can not hearing obviously would be able to completely suck. And here's a very dumb question: is there a cure for blindness? Like if you're born blind, can they?
I've recently understood that a lot of people aren't it's not totally black and there is a cure. Like I think I got that from like Mr. Beast. Like he cured like 1,000 blind people, where there is some type of surgery if you have a certain kind of blindness. I don't think that's definitely not the case for every blind person though.
Okay, but I think hearing. Are we just operating on the assumption that there is no cure for you?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So obviously all right, we'll get rid of the gray area then. Yes, I'd like to be able to drive. I'd like to be able to look at the food I'm eating. I'd like to be able to see the people I'm talking to. I don't want to hear all the people I'm talking to. Looking at you mints doing business deals in the backseat of the car for an hour and a half last night. I don't like I want to see everything. I don't need to hear everything.
Okay. Steven, why is it better to be blind than deaf?
That looks pretty gross, right?
I guess.
But if you heard that through a hotel wall, you'd be like, oh, interesting. you might be kind of intrigued. That's my whole case.
I think you got to give it to Steven. Like hand up. I can't beat that argument.
Steven, you had nothing.
I mean, I had the moan. The moan is the whole premise.
All right, so just moaning. You wouldn't be able to hear.
You need to hear a moan when you're going down on your wife for 27 minutes?
That's very important. I think the sounds make a lot of stuff. Like certainly visuals are great, but if you don't have sound, like going to a sports bar and watching a game on mute with maybe house music or something like that kind of sucks. Like you're missing the experience, right? Like do you guys like doing that? Personally,
okay. On the flip side, if you're going to a bar for the game,
I got it.
Say it one more time.
Going to a bar.
No, it sucks.
To a bar, and the game is on.
Yeah.
In quotation marks, the game is on like a shitty TV. There's no sound. There's a bunch of stuff happening.
They're playing like loud music.
Yeah, like you're not really. You're not really into it.
Yeah, it's the worst.
You know, not an ideal situation. But if you're, for whatever reason, if you have a commitment that you have to come back from, and there's a big White Sox game, there's a big Cubs game, you throw on the radio, you know, you can kind of get into it. It's a situation where it's like, you know what, I'm into this game. Yeah, I'm driving down the highway, I'm changing lanes, I'm trying to get to where I need to get to, but you're invested in the game. You're paying attention to the game. Why? Because you're hearing it. You can use your imagination to put pictures together. You can't really do that if you're just watching a game at a bar. Like it's tough.
I'm not really following this one, Steven.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like,
okay. Any rebuttal? Any more points for blind? Any more points for deaf? Excuse me.
So if you're deaf and you go to a bar and they have house music on and the TV, guess what? You don't hear the house music. You're still watching the game. If you go to a bar as a blind person and they have that's all you hear is that fucking you know. Like,
I imagine you wouldn't go there, but yes. You're not going to a sports bar watch the game if you're blind. I think that's a fair.
Well, you might be expecting the volume to be on. You want to get some beers with the fellas.
Are you into ASMR? If so, that's completely out the window if you're blind. What are you doing? You're just watching a movie where someone's going like this into the microphone. That's horrible. But if you're listening to it, you can fall asleep to that. Some people probably get off to that. Like, not bad.
I guess, yeah, not bad.
All right, I'm going to give this point to Dave. I'm going to make it tied.
Tough argument.
Yeah, tough argument. I agree, but you know that's why it's advantageous to win, so you get to choose.
That one was so easy that it made me nervous.
Because you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he had a good argument at the end. I thought the ASMR point, I thought being able to hear, being able to visualize based on what you hear, like he almost had me, I'll be honest.
Didn't almost. He made the arguments he could possibly make.
I'd rather be deaf than blind.
Well, yeah.
Or wait, no. Sorry, no. I would rather be blind. I would much rather hear than see. Assuming you at some point in your life you have seen, or you're born that way.
Let's just say from birth, right?
Okay, that's tough. That's a totally different because I think.
And also, he's the music guy. You can
have friends. You can hang out. You can listen to this show. You can do so many things. You can still like be a person and socialize without being able to see. But if you can't hear, like you
can't be in
a
language.
okay, you're on a road trip with your friends. Everybody starts fucking laughing so hysterically about something. What do they just say? You don't know. But if your eyes, if you can't see, you heard it, you're a part of it.
Yeah, you got to read lips. You got to.
Honestly, I thought both of you argued pretty poorly.
Honestly.
Yeah. Because you're like, he's a big music. Like, you never hear music, Dave.
It's true.
You would,
that would suck.
That would really suck for you.
That would really suck.
Yeah.
But, like, even if he went first. And
I would have chose
Def.
I'd rather be Def.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are very fortunate to have all our senses.
Yes.
Okay. 2-2. Championship round. I have a couple here. Which one do I
hope you use the one I hope you use. There was one good one in there that I think could set us off a little bit.
All right. Maybe was it a sports one?
Yes.
Okay. But does that skew it for you?
I'm fine with it. I don't care.
What do you mean?
Because you know the question. I don't.
Yeah. No. I don't think it will.
As long as it's a balanced question.
It was sent to us. If you read the responses,
I didn't read.
Thank you to everyone who
appreciate
that. If you want to DM the @DogWalk Barstool account, even if it's just now while you're listening, so we could do it on a future episode.
We'll write it down.
Do it. We'll write it down. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, thank you to everyone who replied to the tweet. Okay. We'll do it then, Dave.
Thank you.
And you get to choose or defer, obviously. Would you rather end your NFL career? This isn't the one?
This isn't the one.
Okay. This one's still good, though.
I don't think I saw this one.
Really?
I don't think.
Would you rather end your NFL career being an average QB who won a Super Bowl, like, say, a Brad Johnson is the one that they used as an example, or would you rather be a great quarterback that never wins a Super Bowl, a la Dan Marino? You don't have to use those guys in particular.
Yeah, I know.
You get the point of the question. Great quarterback, no Super Bowl. An average quarterback with a Super Bowl. White Sox, Dave. Would you like to go first, or would you like?
I'll defer.
Okay.
Super Bowl all day. It's all about the rings. It's all about championships. It's a different sport, but take a look at the inside the NBA crew. Kenny Smith, average player, won an NBA championship. Charles Barkley, great player, MVP, never won a championship. He always has that over him. Charles Barkley, certainly very successful post-career, as did Kenny Smith. But the Super Bowl and the championship in whatever sport you're doing, I guess for this example to be Super Bowl, like you want to achieve. You're working your whole life. It's a team sport. Now, if you're talking tennis, like obviously you have to win to be a great player. Same with golf. But in a team sport, the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. Without that, like, yeah, maybe you could be in the Hall of Fame, but it's so different. Like, you will have those memories for Brad Johnson, Super Bowl 37, for Trent Dilfer when he won it, like not a good quarterback, but he was part of one of the best defenses ever, one of the best teams. So definitely it's going to be the Super Bowl, because that, when you start working as a youth to play the sport, you're not necessarily dreaming of being the guy. You're dreaming of winning. It's all about winning. And Super Bowl, there's no higher achievement in the sport of football, so it has to be that.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're looking at the case of like Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, I thought Brad Johnson was actually pretty good for a stretch, but he was average largely, from what I remember at least. But did they win those Super Bowls because of Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson and other average quarterbacks out there, or in spite of them? So that those teams were carried, in particular the Ravens. That team was carried by Ray Lewis and the defense.
Certainly,
they won in spite of having probably not even an average quarterback. He was whatever quarterback.
Yeah. So in this example, we're doing average. Brad Johnson, when you look at the pantheon of NFL history, is an average.
He's exactly.
He was Pro Bowl level quarterback for those years. He was, but yeah, you're not going to be like. Kids today are not going to be, no offense, I like Brad Johnson, but they're not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to try and be Brad Johnson right now. Like, they will try and be the Mahomes and the, those type of.
If you grew up in South Florida, you're trying to be Dan Marino, in spite of those Super Bowls, okay? Because he's one of the best to ever do it. Now, I know, like, it's tough because I think you list out the top 5 quarterbacks ever, they all have Super Bowls. But the answer is only, I want to be the all-time great quarterback that never won one, because if chances are that I didn't win those Super Bowls because of either bad management, bad front office and execution up there, within the suite. My defense sucked. My offensive line sucked. But if I did my job to an all-time great level, then it's not my fault in the end. There's outside factors that go into it where it's like it's to your point, it's a team game. If not all pistons are clicking in that team game, then you're not winning the Super Bowl. And that's the argument that I've made for Tom Brady all the time, because everybody just says, yeah, Tom Brady, 7 rings. A couple of those rings, and I'm talking specifically the Super Bowl games, he wasn't really good in them. And they won because of, all right, who was it? The Chiefs lineman lined up offsides in the neutral zone. Tom Brady threw a pick on that play, and the game would have been over. They ended up winning. Marshawn Lynch not getting the ball on the goal line.
Is your argument that Tom Brady's not great?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that more goes into games and winning Super Bowls than just quarterback play. It takes an entire team effort, entire front office effort, entire coaching staff effort. Mm-hmm. And if I'm an all-time great quarterback, I did my job. And I know he's got a Super Bowl, but like, say, just for hypothetical purposes, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a ring. I'm not looking at him any different at all. I think he is an absolute top 5 quarterback in the history of the league. And I would make the argument, based on what he did to me personally, that he is the best I've ever seen. And if that is, I'd take that all day over Brad Johnson. 100%.
Aaron Rodgers has Super Bowl.
I understand that. I said in a hypothetical world where he didn't have a Super Bowl. Or we can use Dan Marino as the example. Dan Marino, and on top of it, different eras, but you're making a shit ton more money. A shit ton more money as the all-time great. Mm-hmm. And in the end, that is what you play for. That's absolutely what you play for.
I think maybe as an adult, when you playing sports as a kid, you're playing for the love of the game.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. Yes, absolutely. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. You don't aspire to be Brad Johnson as a kid. You aspire to be.
You aspire to win Super Bowls.
You aspire to be an all-time great. You aspire to be the one that puts your team in position to win Super Bowls.
I still think if you ask Dan Marino or Charles Barkley or greats that never got over the hump, the one thing that bothers them is that they don't have that championship.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, if you are an average quarterback that makes the Super Bowl, wins the Super Bowl, you can rest happy because you know that you max out your talents. Whereas if you are such a great player, you will always wonder, could I have done a little bit more?
Trent Dilfer,
Dilfer is not in this because he was objectively a bad quarterback. This is a Brad Johnson.
Okay, well, I mean, those are the two that people reference the most. All right,
Brad Johnson is an average quarterback. Trent Dilfer is a bad quarterback.
Sure. But those are the two the easy references is what I'm saying. But Brad Johnson, like, in this discussion, we're like, you won a Super Bowl not because of you. And that's what the conversation always is. It's like, oh, the Ravens won that 2001 Super Bowl in spite of Trent Dilfer being quarterback. I know you said we both agree that he was bad and not even average, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in what year was that?
2002. The Buccaneers do not win that Super Bowl without Brad Johnson. He is an average
They could have had.
Let's stop getting away from specifics. Let's speak about the general question.
They could have had 15 other quarterbacks that did exactly what Brad Johnson did that year. Yes, they could have.
Well, yeah, if they do exactly what they did, but to do that, you have to at least provide some value. Brad Johnson.
No one remembers Brad Johnson.
Certainly, people remember Brad Johnson.
I mean, if you and I and Ed and Avi, we remember him because we watch it happen. But no one's looking back 20 years from now and remember Brad Johnson. They're saying, remember Dan Marino? He was awesome. He was one of the all-time greats. Nobody could air it out like him, and especially in that era where people didn't really air it out.
And, hey, he's got great Nutrizone commercials and all that stuff, but at the end
all
of the
that
day,
money, that South Beach flow that he's got, but he's from Pittsburgh.
It can't buy him a championship. And Brad Johnson is going to have that. He's going to be able to eat free in Tampa for life. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Steven, I'm pretty sure Dan Marino can eat free in life, even though he doesn't in Miami, even though he didn't have a Super Bowl there as well.
Fair, but there's always you get the highs of people being like, oh, I want to be like Dan Marino, but you also get the lows of people being like, Dan Marino never won a championship.
And then on the flip side, you have
Brad Johnson didn't get any of those lows.
Brad Johnson, he was like, okay, We're talking about him being one of the worst quarterbacks to ever win a Super Bowl. That's what people remember him as, even though he was
not
average.
A bad player. Yeah,
no, he wasn't. He wasn't a bad player. He was the epitome of average.
He maxed out his talents. I think he can rest easy knowing he maxed out his talents and he achieved the ultimate goal.
Most people in the NFL have maxed out their talent. Dan Marino, not because of Dan Marino, is because of other things.
You don't think you could have done a little bit more?
I mean, I don't remember Dan Marino all that well because I'm just not old enough to. Obviously, I do.
Do you think Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, who have not won Super Bowls yet, could have done a little bit more?
I promise you there's yes, Steven, I'm sure they could have gotten an extra yard here or there, but like
let's use
nobody
an example right now.
Blaming...
Lamar Jackson. Kids want to be Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson gets destroyed in the playoffs by teams that know how to play him. Like, I would rather be the Super Bowl winner that has
how much money
that has defeated.
What is Lamar Jackson's contract right now?
Probably super big.
And
in a year.
and what's his face? Buffalo has the highest contract in football, I believe, right?
Josh
Allen.
Yep.
The best contract in football.
5-year, $260 million for Lamar. I'll look up Josh.
I think he's over 3. I want to say.
Okay.
I'd rather have that than I'm the reference point of being a bad or an average quarterback who won, and that's what I'm remembered for.
Okay. I thought this was a really good argument. I thought you both did really well, and it's truthfully very hard to grade. I thought Dave had an awesome rebuttal to you saying Brad Johnson will never have to buy a dinner again because he won a Super Bowl, which is true. But then Dave brought up a great point, too, where it's like, I don't think Dan Marino is going to have to be paying for much either, which is something you don't really
He's still on TV.
Coincide.
Brad Johnson's probably sitting in a tree stand right now, which
Marino on TV?
awesome.
Brad Johnson. I don't think Dan Marino fired from CBS.
Yeah, he's been on TV.
He's on like Nutrisystem. That's he's on.
Brad Johnson is the best life ever. His wife is hot, and his sons play college football, and he does trick shot videos for a living. He's literally the best life.
Dave bringing up the money component was a very good angle, I think, too. Like, those guys really maximized and became set for life. I don't know the contract situation.
I'm sure Brad Johnson.
Sure, he made something decent for sure, and he does well, but not certainly not the type of wealth that a Lamar Jackson will have if he never gets a big one.
Which is a product of the era you're born in, so it's not really your fault. But like, even if Brad Johnson were, he's not getting paid. He's the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders right now.
It's hard because
I think Nick Foles is a good example too. I just thought of.
Yeah,
guy's a legend forever.
Yeah, it's hard because while
other reasons too,
allegedly.
My personal opinion, I agree with Steven's point. I thought Steven had the argument early. I actually thought Dave came on strong at the end, and I'm going to give this to Dave.
What a comeback!
Yeah, I thought that was. I really thought he came on strong at the end. I thought
that's fair.
The Marino meal rebuttal and the money points were strong.
That's fair. Good match. I'm glad to see you grasping the concept.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
start.
A 20-minute pod after that NFL time slot question. Do you agree with that?
The ruling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a very tough argument. I think it was like neck and neck. I think probably those final blows take you over, but yeah, we might have handed Dave the first one before it, but good brain clash nonetheless.
Yeah, because I agree. I think you play in the NFL. Obviously, you want to take care of your family. You want to take care of all, everyone around you. But I think you play for your city, and to be a legend in a city forever, and never have it questioned, but he didn't win the big. Like, that was the big key. Like, you could have just never won the big one. Like that. Like,
yeah,
that's now. Listen, because that's Barkley, that's Marino. You sit at a barbershop, you say anything. You can't bring up their name without someone saying that, and you never brought that up, really.
Was Jim McMahon? He was for his time, like a little better than average. Right?
I would say McMahon and Johnson are probably comparable.
He was a little better than average.
He wasn't.
He wasn't a superstar.
Bad, no, but he was. Yeah, he was solid.
He was solid.
Yeah.
But
to my knowledge, I didn't.
And
fucking watch him.
Is exactly right. So I don't. I'm talking on my ass right now, but I don't think he wasn't the best quarterback in the league at the time, and he is a fucking legend in this city.
Yeah, but it's also nice. And Steven, that's an argument I wish you made too, where you could say whatever you want about Brad Johnson, but all you have to say is Super Bowl champ, and that's why you play the game, right? That's why you play the game.
I think a lot of people play it for money.
Sure, but that's why you started
playing
as an
adult,
game.
Yeah.
As an adult, yes.
Kids don't know.
Once you know everything, and even if you're in a locker room, I think 90% of people are wired by competition as well.
Mm-hmm.
As money.
Yeah,
athletes for sure. Yeah.
Yes, and the goal is to be the final.
That's the
tournament,
penultimate, for sure.
And that's what you play when you're fucking 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
4. Good. I like that.
That's a good one.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, it's good.
So can we?
Tell me the other one off air because I want to.
Save it.
I want to save questions here. All right, Brain Clash 5 in the books.
Good match.
Thank you. Good match. It is 1-1 in Brain Clash post Super Bowl era. The first 3 we're not going to count. So it is 1-1, Steven versus Dave. All right, that's it for today. That's it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you guys next time.